Welcome back, everyone, to the next episode of 3 Dudes in Our 20s, featuring Grant, Tobin, and Will. And today, we got Kliever on here.
What up, Kliever?
What up, Kliever?
What's up, dog?
Excited to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming, man.
Hey.
Kliever's a fan of the show, friend of ours, my roommate.
I'm about to say, you'd be better throwing it back. He's a roommate.
And
I like the show, though. I like the setup and stuff.
I appreciate it.
thanks, man.
And the lights, I think they're pretty cool, too.
Yeah, me and Kliever already got a few selfies in here.
Yeah,
Good life.
Shocking. Wow.
Well, it's his idea.
I had to.
Gotcha.
This
Got like a sick photo shoot of you after or something like that.
Jeez. Oh, jeez.
Kliever, you want to give a little background to the audience?
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kliever Joseph, wrestler here at Defiance College. I'm a sophomore. I'm also a business major. And that's all you guys need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Okay.
All you need to know.
There you go.
Tough, bro. Kliever, where you from? How'd you get here?
I'm from Orlando, Florida. I got here because I got recruited here for wrestling.
Big wrestling guy.
That's pretty much it, really. I am a big wrestling guy.
Yeah.
So
What weight class?
141.
Nice. Big dog. Big dog.
I'm a little heavy right now.
A little heavy?
It's off season, man.
It
You
is
got to
off
enjoy it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That was fire.
That was. No, go ahead.
No, go crazy. No, go crazy.
so how hard is it, like, because I hear all about wrestlers having to cut weight or not eating for like a week straight.
Question. I was
Really?
gonna ask how hard it was to cut weight.
Oh my God. So like, yeah, like what's the mindset? Like, how does not eating like affect your daily life or like, because that must be hard.
Oh, yeah. It's very hard mentally and physically, too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say that you don't eat for a whole week straight, obviously. Like, you do got to eat a little. You do got to eat to cut weight because you got to
You got to feel
You need energy,
your body to get through the practices.
water and stuff. A lot of it, too, is also about, like, managing your weight, which I didn't do a good job of this year, but it's cool.
Right.
So, manage your weight, eat healthy, and a lot of the times, or some of the times, you got to get extra workouts in on your own.
Yeah.
But I personally like the process of wrestling and the hardship that it brings, so it's not too bad for me.
Yeah. As far as like mentally and physically draining, like I
It
can imagine that's
is.
probably one of the biggest sports that does that,
Oh,
just
yeah.
because of that reason.
Wow. So do you kind of want to go into some of like the technical terms, right? Because a lot of people don't really know like Olympic or college, high school style wrestling, how scoring works, and that there is a total score, there's a running score for the match and in the match, technically, right? You kind of want to go through a little bit about that, right? Because most people think wrestling, they think of hitting people with chairs and John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You sound like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's what they think when they think of wrestling, right? So you kind of want to explain a little bit. This is just the basics. You don't have to go to like a 40.
Like, how do you win a match?
How do I win a
I
match?
mean, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, just beat the other guy.
Just beat the other guy. But no, you want to talk a little bit about like the scoring and about how like what the technical side of wrestling.
All right, so it's different between high school, college, and Olympics. So in high school and college is kind of similar. The weight classes are a little bit different. But in high school, a takedown is worth 2 points. That's when you get the other guy on the mat and you cover their legs and hips. So that's 2 points. That's the same for college, too. Olympics a little bit different. I'll talk about that later. In terms of bottom, so in college there's a riding time point, meaning that you held the guy like on the ground or on the mat for more than a minute, so that's a point.
Wow.
In college, but in high school, you could ride the guy out for like 6 minutes and you'll get a point.
Why is that?
I don't know, it's just different.
Just the
in high
rules.
school, yeah. Also, in high school, so like you gotta turn the guy like when you're on bottom, basically like almost pinning them, but not really. Kind of getting their shoulders within a 90-degree angle. In high school, it's like, so you get 2 swipes. So you could only get up to 3 points of near falls. That's what they call it. But in high school, you could get up to 4 points. It's just an extra point, really. I think they added a new rule last year where basically, so in overtime is like a minute now, where I think it's a minute or 2. I think it's 2 minutes, I think. So it's 2 minutes, while in high school it's only a minute.
Okay.
So it's definitely harder in college and stuff.
So have you wrestled your entire life?
No, I started wrestling like the end of my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
pretty much.
So how hard was it to quickly adjust to like learning all the rules? Because I'm sitting here listening to you speak, and I'm like, I'm a little lost. It's a lot,
Confusing, yeah.
but
It
it's
took-
also cool to hear you talk about your sport, like how you would talk about soccer, baseball, or basketball.
Man, I
We're
could
all
talk
in.
about wrestling all day. I won't though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But to answer your question, to adjust from that it was kind of hard, especially my freshman year. Like I didn't know anything about wrestling, and the team that I was in was pretty stacked too. But it took about a year for me to like officially learn all the rules and stuff.
Okay.
I wasn't really focused on learning that though. I was mainly wrestling on being better on the mat. Mainly focused on being better on the mat, but it was cool though.
All right, so 2 questions here. One, you said the end of your freshman year. So
Yeah.
here in the state of Ohio, wrestling is in the winter, kind of like how it is for
Yeah.
our college season. Do you wrestle all year round?
All year round, no. Well, so wrestling's not as
Florida, at least in Florida, right? For Florida high school.
it's about the same. It's around the same time. Really, it starts beginning of November, and then, well, if you make it to state, it's like in March.
Yeah, so it's basically the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it is the same time.
Same time frame.
pretty much.
And then I know you talked a little bit about starting at the end of your freshman year. What made you want to become a wrestler? Who inspired you? How did this come about?
So I still remember this day. I love this story right here. So one of my childhood friends that I went to middle school with, his name is Moise and stuff.
Shout
from
out,
Florida.
Moise.
Shout out to him. He's in South Carolina right now wrestling at Allen University. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
But he's the one that got me into wrestling. It was after school. I remember this day, my freshman year. We were like walking back to the bus, and he's like, he was a sophomore at the time. He's a year ahead of me. He's like, man, you should really try wrestling. I think you would like it. I was like, I don't know. And then one day I just came to practice, and I've been hip ever since.
Got hooked, man.
Yeah,
Is that a term in wrestling? Hooked?
Hooked? Nah.
No.
No, it's just-
I was guessing. I was throwing
I'm
shots.
not- I haven't heard that one.
It's like
No.
Never.
What's like the best feeling as a wrestler?
Okay.
Like as a basketball player, it's I don't know if you swish a shot, like that's the best feeling for me personally.
So, my favorite feeling of wrestling was when I have like 3 favorite feelings of wrestling.
It's fine.
Like my 3.
Go through 'em.
Start
favorite
bench
feelings.
good.
When I won my first match in high school. When I made it to state my senior year. And when I won my first college match. Those are like my
Wow.
3.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah.
I was lit.
I think I was there for that too. Yeah.
Bro, I was.
That's my future room.
hurt. That was here, right?
No.
No,
it
yeah,
was,
it was on the road. Okay, I remember. I watched it here.
Yeah. It was in
Yeah.
Case Western.
Yeah, I remember sitting there. I was like, Kliever! I was like,
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
was like-
hell, dude. I was hype. I was hype.
What's the impact of like fans for wrestling? As far as, do you really get do you get a lot of
Adrenaline.
adrenaline? That's the word I'm
Man.
looking for. Thank you, brother.
I'm there.
Wrestling fans are crazy.
Yes.
That's all I'll tell you. Especially the ones in Ohio.
Okay,
They're crazy.
so different than Florida.
I think it's all around, but wrestling is like more popular here, so people are more like invested into it. But overall, wrestling fans are crazy. But they're like, when I mean crazy, as in they're like, especially the parents. They're like,
They get after it. They like
yeah,
want their
they're
son
like,
or
they start
daughter.
yelling and stuff.
beat him up.
Beat 'em up. I've seen a couple times where like a parent like ran into the mat or something. I was like,
That's
wow.
legit.
I feel like the referees are pretty all about it too. Like they're
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
or they hold the hand up with because you guys have different wristband
Yeah.
colors or whatnot.
Best
Ankle
part,
bands. Yeah.
Ankle
Yeah.
bands. Sorry.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Best part is just seeing like the referee on the mat. Just, one.
They don't.
Well, that's what I think of. You know, like
That's
so they
that's
lay
the
down
wrong
though.
wrestling.
Sometimes.
That's the wrong.
They still
wrestling.
lay down on the mat.
Yeah, they come by and they watch. And they go like that. And it's,
Oh, they do that quick little tap.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just thought of this. So in basketball, sometimes
Watch
we
it.
get bad referees.
Yeah.
Is there ever like a bad
Yeah.
referee in
Oh, all the
wrestling?
time.
Really?
All the time.
Like
think it's most
what
sports.
determines a bad referee in wrestling?
Well,
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
like my teammate Matt Beard, that just came into my head, so I'm gonna say.
Matt.
What up? Shout
When
out
he
Matt.
like kind of like messed up his foot. So an opponent was like doing like a move on him,
Sure.
and basically was just like pulling his like ankle like all the way back.
Oh,
Like that's a bad ref. Like a good ref would have stopped that.
Oh, okay.
And like
yeah, 'cause it's
Injury
illegal. 'Cause you
prevention.
can't do that. It's illegal, right?
it's just the way you do it. The way the guy was doing it, he was
Yeah.
doing it wrong, and like that ended up ending like Matt's season.
Yeah.
Bad intent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like wow. A bad ref too also like calls like stupid calls, stuff like that.
That's a stupid call.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best way to like just not is just to like not let it get to you, because like in a match, after you could yell about it all you want, but
Okay.
during the match though, you can't.
Well, it's funny you say that because kind of what I wanted to discuss today, and we talked about this on our own, like in the pod sometimes, is adversity.
Yeah.
And I thought we'd go around to start with, of all four of us, to what is your definition of adversity?
My definition of adversity. I like that. That's it. I need to think about that for a
Okay,
little,
we'll start with Tobin.
for like 3 seconds.
I would just say challenge, because like if you're wrestling and someone doesn't give you, or like a ref doesn't call something that like he's supposed to call, it's like, yeah, you can complain about it, but it's also a challenge, Not everything's gonna go your way, so it's like, all right, when something doesn't go your way, it's like, all right, now I'm challenged to do this, and I kind of see it as like a motivation factor in a way, but I try not to complain about things, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'd say challenge.
What about you, Will?
When things don't go your way. That's like the most basic thing you
Plain
can
and
say
simple,
about
yeah.
adversity, when things don't go the way you plan them. And then your character as a human, right, boys, is how you respond to those things,
Man,
right?
preach it.
Because life is 10% of what actually happens to you, and 90% of how you respond to that, right? And how you respond to adversity.
Who said that? Will Garlock?
Probably a philosopher.
Oh,
I don't know.
because I've heard it before. I didn't know.
I've heard it from 15,000 people in my life. Probably a philosopher in the 1800s. I don't know,
Famous
19.
philosopher.
Probably Aristotle. You never know.
Probably.
But for real though, that's mine. Cleaver, you got anything yet, bro?
I do. My definition of adversity is basically challenges that arise in your life that you must overcome.
Facts.
Pretty much.
That's a great
Facts.
Honestly, how it is.
Because again, life is 10% of what you do. 90% how you respond to the things that happen.
I never thought about it like that.
That's what it is. Yeah, legitimately.
10% things.
Or 10% of the decisions you make or whatever, right? 10 things that happen, and 90% of how you respond to those things.
So speaking of that, go back around. What are ways us here, respond to adversity? What are things you think about, or the actions you take to overcome adversity?
Time I'm faced with adversity, I like to take a deep breath and kind of analyze things a bit, because I don't like to just do things out of emotions or whatever, even though sometimes it might happen. But what I like to do is take a deep breath, analyze the situation, and see look at all the possible outcomes and just choose what the best thing is for me, pretty much.
That's good.
Not for me it doesn't always have to be for me, maybe for somebody else or whatever, maybe a group.
You look at all the options across the board and are analyzing what's coming in and what you think's the best overall outcome.
Pretty much, yeah. Or the best thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could even still choose wrong, but
Yeah.
it happens.
But you take that time to analyze the situation
Yeah.
rather than just going making a whimsical decision off emotion. That's really smart. What about you, Will?
I would say Phil Knight said it best, man. Just do it. Just gotta keep going. That's kind of how you can't quit if you fold. I always like to say, if you fold, you're a weak-minded human being. You'll never catch me being a weak-minded human being if you fold. There's always someone there to help you as well, right? So it's
Don't
never
be afraid to ask for help.
don't fold.
I just think if I'm ever it's like Kliever said, the emotions have a lot to play in it sometimes. So finding a way to make emotions not at all, how I choose things and assess the situation, and how I do that, like Kliever said, he takes a deep breath. I kind of like to isolate myself from people, because sometimes if if I'm feeling a certain way, it's like, oh, I just can't be around people right now. It's one of those things. Or if I can't do that, then yeah, I think taking a deep breath is kind of the way I do it. But yeah,
Sometimes it might take multiple.
multiple deep
yeah.
breaths. Yeah.
There's actually a science.
Yeah, maybe
behind
4.
it. If you take 2 deep breaths through your nose and out your mouth, the amount of oxygen that you consume during that deep breath, it fills your brain with a little bit more clarity. So you're able to kind of make a better decision, or possibly
You good?
scientific.
Yeah, I just took a deep breath.
yeah.
I had to try it.
Now, when we do a double inhale, so I'll do this now twice through my nose, or you could do this, or you could do it through your mouth, but it works best through the nose. It's inhale, and then you sneak a little bit more air in at the very end. When you do that, you reinflate those little sacs. And when you exhale, then you discard all the carbon dioxide at once. So the simple way to describe this protocol is that unless you are underwater, you do a double inhale followed by an extended exhale, and you offload the maximum amount of carbon dioxide. And we found in our laboratory, and other laboratories have found, that just 1, 2, or 3 of those physiological sighs brings your level of stress down very, very fast. And it's a tool that, you can use anytime.
What about you, Grant?
Yeah, Grant. What do you think about adversity?
Adversity. I agree with everything everybody said so far as challenges arise in your life. I think a lot of times we might want things to go perfect, and when they don't go perfect, we get upset. So it doesn't even need to necessarily be a humongous challenge in our life, but even if just things are a little off, like I think on a daily basis, that could be adversity. Whether it's, this assignment randomly popped up, I need to complete this, or you're in a game, or you're in a golf match and maybe you miss a shot or you mishandle a swing. That might not be a huge thing on the scale of, this is a life-changing, life-altering event, but it's how you respond, like Will said, to the little things. And over time, I think having a mental toughness mindset gets you through it. What I personally do is I take deep breaths as well, kind of do some isolation as far as thinking in my thoughts. And the way I do that is I express it through my faith. So I just do whatever I need to do there as far as praying or getting in the Bible. But I'm also not afraid to ask questions. So sometimes I'll just talk to other people, mentors, different things about decisions, what I can do better, what I can bring to the table to improve. So when adversity strikes again, how am I going to respond better the next time? I always think of my mom because she loves the movie Rocky, and big overall arching theme there is, he says, when you get knocked down, like, how are you going to respond? You have to get up and keep moving forward. How much you're going to take and keep moving forward. I don't know if that's the exact quote or not, but
That's from Rocky Balboa.
yeah.
He tells it to his son.
He tells it to his son.
Yeah.
And so I think it's about how, when you get knocked down, how are you going to stand up and keep moving forward? That's what I always think of. So what are some traits that you would say, we can keep going around the room, this is kind of cool, that we've developed over the years, to kind of get over these adversities that we face in our life? What are some traits you might say you have developed or even have now?
Oh, yeah. I will say this school year has been, full of adversity.
Sure.
And growth for me, mentally, too. So this is a really good question. But honestly, I see the way I view adversity.
Oh,
So
that's good.
I used to kind of view it as a bad thing and stuff, but I've chose to look at it as a good way, of character development, being a better person, maybe helping somebody out. That's one of the traits, but also too is being a part of a plan or something too. Definitely that. And that's honestly about it, really. I honestly really do look at adversity as a good thing now.
Yeah.
Obviously not all adversity is
Yeah.
sometimes
We
it's
talked
hard to,
about that the
feel
one
like
night, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
But-
perspective thing, too.
Honestly. I just kind of see I just choose to look at it differently. as I'm gonna come out of certain things stronger. It's that simple, really.
It's kind of like a stepping stone
Yeah.
on the journey.
Yeah.
That's good.
I also like thought too, like I'm like young. I'm 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like these like a lot of these adversities that I'm going through or will go through in the next upcoming years. In 30 years, I'll look back at these things and laugh at it.
Exactly, man.
Honestly,
So a lot of these little things in our life, are they really going to affect, our future? A lot of them not really. It's just how do you get up, keep moving forward, and not let it affect your daily life, because that affects your interaction with your friends, with your people that you're close with, your family. So if you can get over those, and like you said, you've developed that by just learning more about yourself and how you deal with it.
Yeah.
I think it sets you up for success in life.
it definitely.
Yeah.
And this school year has definitely been filled with that. Just learning how to get through it.
hmm
Shit,
But look, you're here now. We're almost at the end of the semester.
yeah,
Ready for summer.
I am.
There you go.
I would think would be. I used to be afraid to fail when I was younger. Right, that was like my biggest thing. Like hell, like my sophomore year of high school, I wrote like a series of papers
Really?
over the like she was like, "What are you afraid of? Like, what's your biggest fear?" And people be like clowns and spiders, and I'm sitting there in the middle of class as like a 15-year-old kid. I go, "I'm afraid to fail." And everyone just looks at me. I'm like, "Yeah,
That's kind of a mature thing to say.
I'm afraid to fail. I
I
hate
got a
to fail."
question. Like, what is up with people being scared of clowns?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I think it's
Georgie.
That's one. American serial killers
Oh,
dressed up as spiders, shows up as clowns sometimes.
There was a thing going on in my town one year.
That
about-
was 20 when we were in high school. People were
yeah,
dressed up as
white
clowns,
vans
messing
and
around.
clowns. They would,
Yeah,
like,
that was
kidnap
the country. That was not usually your town. That was the country.
you. Well,
Yeah, because I knew.
yeah.
that was a weird trend.
I said I was afraid to fail, and
Yeah.
I think it was just sitting back and getting older and realizing failure is part of life. And there's a great quote from about failure from
Master Yoda.
Grandmaster. I was gonna say Grand Jedi Master Yoda says failure, or the true teacher failure is. Yeah, true teacher failure is.
Mm.
So you learn through your failure. And then Giannis just said a great thing when they lost about things being failures sports wise. So girl sports guys, he's talking about failing in sports when he's like, you never fail in sports. But I'm like, yeah, sometimes you do. Sometimes you do, right?
a lot actually.
If you fail a lot, yeah, but
So it's just
it's how do you look at it, right? So like I like to say you're either winning or you're learning.
Winning
Right.
or learning. That's
You're either winning or you're learning, right? So, and I like to say I'm winning all the time.
I like it.
So I never learn because all I do is win, no matter what.
Can you learn?
Got money
by
on my
winning?
mind. I can never give it up.
Did you hear?
I
Can
did.
you learn by winning?
Every time I step up in the building, everybody's hands goes up,
all I do is win.
and they stay there.
No matter what.
Stay there.
Yeah, I mean, you can win through learning. I think you learn through everything in your life. You don't go a second without learning something, right? Because you're an experience or an altercation with somebody or anything like that, right? And you learn something from being in presence. Like
I think it's
like we taught these two children a little bit about wrestling today. You
Yeah.
taught me a little bit more about wrestling today, right?
Yeah.
That's something like us sitting here at this table, we learned that,
100%.
right?
It's big though. What you just said, real
Yeah.
quick, is how I think that's today's culture. Is they're kind of ignorant to wanting to learn. They think they can figure everything out on themselves. I've always been taught, and I've always kind of appreciated learning from other people, taking in those experiences, failures.
Because of this.
I mean, yeah,
Because of this. Like legitimately, it is because of this thing, right? Because it's anything you want to know,
you can, yeah,
you type it in,
exactly,
right? So and it's real easy to look up a YouTube video.
100%.
It's real hard to sit there and actually listen to you, and for me to lock in the moment and try to do it.
I
Not a
think
problem.
almost what I've been taught is I appreciate that more when I go to a person or pick up the phone and give them a phone call and say, "Hey, man, I'm in the ditch. I need help." Literally, my car was in the ditch once, and that happened.
How'd you get in the ditch? That's my first question.
Well,
In a ditch.
How'd you get in a
but-
ditch, bro?
yeah, like picking up the phone and literally saying, I'm in the rough right here, as we would say in golf, in the rough. But
No, you be in the trap. You didn't say in trap, but
Diamond in the rough.
diamond
Diamond
in
in
the
the
rough.
But picking up the phone and
Yeah,
calling people about that, I'm big on that because I think you have to be open to learning. So I would say winning is learning for sure.
Facts, yo.
How about you, Tobin?
No, there's like a few things I thought about. Like when people are talking to you, it's like if someone's trying to fix my form, like while I'm lifting, I could think in my head like I'm doing this right. I'm not gonna listen to him. But I don't know. I always like to think that everyone else knows more than I do, so I can learn from something. Because like if I have the mindset that I already know everything and that I'm learning everything, then I'm never gonna really learn more. So even if it's like someone like I know what they're talking about, I know what they're talking to me, I don't agree with, I still kind of have an open mindset thinking, well, they can still maybe teach me something. Mm-hmm. And another thing I kind of thought of was that if something doesn't make you mad, or if something's not going to affect you like 5 years down the road, then there's no reason to be upset about it for over like 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
I like that.
So like,
I like that.
Next 5 minutes or next 5 years?
That's what I'm saying.
Pick your poison.
Like, if it's going to affect you for the next 5 years, then yeah, I mean, it's okay to be a little bit upset about it. But like, if I just like, I don't know, strike out.
A lot of times that's
in baseball,
I'm
like
breaking
I
my
don't have
bat.
to be upset about that for like a month, like it's just one of those things. Like, choose the timing and when you get really upset about things, because it really just brings it back down to earth on how much it really matters. So
stay present. One thing I've thought of as all of you have been talking is, I think a big thing for me is I know there's a bigger place and there's a bigger thing waiting at the end of our life. So I don't really get too concerned about what's going on here on earth. Obviously, every day I try to prepare myself to present myself as best as possible. But I know at the end of the day, our job is to be a light. And if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail, and I'm going to learn from other people, if that makes sense. Because I know there's only one person that knows everything, and he's upstairs. So I don't really get too concerned about
Steve Bear. Steve Bear.
Yeah, exactly.
It is Rickaball, dude.
It's on my shirt today.
That is Rickaball.
But yeah, I don't really get too concerned about what's my plan. I think he has a plan for me, and it's my job to kind of basically surrender and just whatever he has on course for me, that's what I'm going to try to live out my life for. So when I lay my head down at night, I know I put my best effort into everything so I can be at peace with knowing that he's taking care of me, and he's going to get me through anything. So that's one thing I always think about and have developed in the recent years is leaning on my faith to get me through adversity. So a thing we've talked about before is resilience, and how would you say resilience aligns with adversity? Like, do you ever think about that?
Resilience. I honestly have never thought about that. I think we should go around the room.
Okay.
I think we should go.
Well, to me, like, resilience means it's the definition of how you overcome adversity. Like, that would be my answer to how you overcome it is resilience. Mm. And it's basically everything that we've kind of talked about today is picking yourself up, staying positive, having a good perspective, knowing that there's grass may be greener on the other side. Like, there's always something better. And I also think you mentioned it a little bit ago. You were like, this year has been kind of tough on me. And I remember sitting in the kitchen talking with you about it. And I said, everybody goes through different seasons in their life. Yeah. And these seasons could be good. They could be bad. You're going to meet certain people. You're going to be exposed to certain things. You're going to learn certain things. But when you go through these seasons, it's our job to kind of surrender and just know that there's a bigger plan ahead of us. And whether you come out on top during that season or you fall right on your face, either way, it's going to be okay. I think that's one thing the Bible tells us it's going to be okay. But regardless, I think resilience is getting through that season. So whether it's the wrestling season when you can't eat anything, or it's the legit
tough assignments,
you had tough assignments, or if whatever it may be, family, relationship, whatever it may be, it's how you get through and have resilience through that. That's how I think resilience relates to adversity. Thanks.
I definitely think resilience does relate to adversity. I think resilience also plays a big part in overcoming not just adversity, but like some of the like mental blockages. If you guys understand that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. I think. I also think that it improves. I'm gonna relate this to wrestling a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
let's
like,
do it.
Even go.
like mental toughness and stuff, because that is a big part of wrestling. Like, you kind of got to be very resilient in terms of wrestling, because it's obviously a tough sport. But you also got to be resilient in like other aspects of your life. Going back to what I was saying about, I like what Tobin said. Like, does 5 minutes like equal to like 5 years of that? I think you also got to kind of think about it like that too.
It brings you back down to earth on like what you should be mad about and
Honestly.
what's realistic to be upset about.
There's a bigger
you know?
picture up above us, right?
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna start thinking about that every time I'm like mad or like sad about something.
it's awesome, man.
Man, you
Like,
learned something, right?
Honestly,
Wow.
because like, is this like 5 minute like conversation or moment
Mhm.
gonna matter in 5 years? I might not even remember it in 5
Exactly.
years.
Or like
So-
showing up late to a class, you know. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know. I kind of think of resiliency like you walk around or just with like a shield over you. You know what I mean? Like a bubble. My mom, shout out to my mom. She always says I need to live in a bubble because I always get hurt every single time. You know. You know. But and this is kind of like a different way. You know, like if that little bee's my goal, right? Like I'm like walking towards the bee, like I have a shield over me with like everyone coming at me saying different things or like, you know, or like throwing their words at me and it's just bouncing right off. You have to be resilient through it. And I mean, I had to deal with that sometimes in soccer, you know, like in high school, me and Will talked about it, like you're that guy in high school. Like no one's going to talk crap to me in high school if I'm the one like scoring goals or hitting the ball or whatever. But now that you get here, it's like everyone says, you know, like you suck, you need to work on this, you need to do that. And like, yeah, it's constructive at times, you know, like I know what I need to work on and stuff like that. But you say something too much, it loses its meaning, you know. You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck. Or even stuff like I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Or like words like I love you, like all that stuff. Like if you say it way too much, like those words don't resonate as much.
If you ever use it, doesn't mean
And they don't carry. And making things mean something. I guess that's a little tangent I kind of just went on, but like
it's fire.
if I'm like working towards a goal and people keep saying the same thing, it's a way I'm going to be resilient, you know, because it's just a way to keep going. Just block out the haters, block out the words, you know. So
Blocking out the haters.
yeah, worse from Wheezy.
That's
Words.
awesome. I just kind of met with Professor Allaire. You guys should go check that episode out. But one thing's we brought up, it comes from Psalms 4:8. It says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, you will keep me safe." So what you just said with the shield, that was literally kind of what we're just talking about. So when you lay your head down at night, you just got to know that he's going to protect you and he's going to get you through it. And any adversity, any season that we're in, I just inspire people to just go for it. Just do it, as Will would say. And don't let it get the best of you because, as Adam would say, the next 5 minutes, are they really going to impact the next 5 years? And a lot of times that's a no. And so
did you come up with that?
I heard it somewhere. I don't know where I
Yeah.
heard it,
Okay.
but
and
I got my boy too.
so that's really gonna stick with me too.
I mean, whenever I hear things like that or I see quotes, stuff like that, I make sure to write them down instantly because I know I'm going to forget. So I have like a whole notes full of
Yep.
like quotes and
I
stuff
do
like
too.
that. And just stuff that sticks with me, you know? It's like taking notes at church or taking notes anywhere. Like the stuff that you want to remember, like you'll write down and kind of stick with you. So
And
I
lock
just
it in
know
your
it's-
brain.
Whether it was 5 years ago or a month ago, I know I wrote that down somewhere. So
Mhm.
yeah, it stuck with me. So
As Jeff would say, also featured on a previous podcast, it's not about the quantity that you know, whether it's wisdom, the Bible, whatever, it's the quality. So if you just know one thing, if you just take away one thing that somebody says in your life, mentor, whatever, can you carry that out on a daily basis? And that's what I always try to do when I'm facing adversity. Remember that one thing that I was taught when I got whenever, and just keep moving forward. So
just got to focus on one thing at a time.
Yep.
Be in the present.
Oh,
Right, like being in the present, like
the
legitimately.
rope.
There's so many people. Cleaver, I'm gonna tell you this because these two have already heard this spiel.
Yeah.
Right, there's so many people who either live in the past are trying to live in the future.
Oh, the rope. We haven't.
There are very few people who live in the middle. So there's this thing where there are two ropes: the past or the future.
Yeah.
Somebody's there. You're getting pulled one way or the other. Sometimes you need to drop both of them and just be in the present. That's one thing a lot of people don't do. A lot of people just want to look. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to graduate. I can't wait to have this. Can't wait to have that. The only way you get that is living in the moment. They're like, oh man, I wish I could have done this, or I wish I did that. I wish this would run differently. The way to change those is to change them in the
shoulda,
past.
coulda, woulda, as Mama Jay would always say.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
And
My dad
I
said
think,
it too.
and I always say that that's only good in horseshoes and hand grenades. And I don't see too many horseshoes around, right? Yeah. So like it's legitimate, yeah. So it's one of those we're staying
Rough Riders.
like staying in the moment, and it's one of those things where you got to live in the moment. That's kind of the best thing to go about it, because too many people want to talk about what they didn't get, and want to talk about what they're going to get, but not about what they have.
Oh my gosh, that's
What is
gold,
it?
man.
When they lose it, they like regret it. They wish they could go back to them.
Kobe always said, "Live with no regrets."
Yeah.
And how do you
moving.
do that? You stay present, as Will would say.
Just
Take us
stay
home, brother.
right here. Stay right here, bro.
It's medicine.
Tired of that, bro.
Sub here.
With the
Hit
sub.
that subscribe with the like and the bell.
Like,
Ding.
like, share, subscribe.
Do all that Kliever just said.
Man.
Boys, anything else to say?
The present is medicine, man. You know, like
Present
that's-
is medicine.
that's-
The president's-
Hot
Where's
punch.
this dude coming with these days, man? These
You want
colds.
the vice presidents?
But that being said, though, like what you said, it's always good to have something to look forward to. You don't want to live in the future,
Yeah,
but
bro, that's the one thing
you have to have goals. You know what I
So
mean?
one thing I'm afraid of, right, is waking up and not being excited for something to happen.
because you have to,
couple days,
because no
right.
matter what it is, your job or school, like you have to be working towards something.
Like I always remember every day
It's a journey.
waking up and being excited for something, right? Like if it's
Yeah.
in the summer, it's being excited for a game, like coaching a game,
Christmas
or
as a kid.
or being excited for going back to school or something, like something like that.
Vacations, you know.
or summer.
It could
like-
be anything.
Yeah, like I never want to be in the point in my life where there's nothing to look forward to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's why you got to break the daily routine, do something. It's good to have a routine, but just, do something spontaneous, out of the ordinary, take advantage of everything. So
Like grab a
Be in
bunch
the
of
present,
lightsabers and play Fortnite. Or buy
I'm
a
looking
lightsaber.
forward to Fortnite later, not gonna lie.
So
you go.
am I. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
All right,
I
it's
just
think
little things.
I think the seasons of adversity that we go through, it's how you bounce back and respond to those, and that's through your trust and faith.
Big trust.
And staying present in those moments will get you through whatever you're going through because of the drive, motivation, purpose that this life has. And it's because this life is a journey. We're never going to really cross the finish line. At least I don't think. I think it's how close can you get to, as Tobin would say, the B. How close can I get there? And the best way to do that is to get better, 1% better every day.
Challenge that.
The B is the goal, by the way.
I'll challenge that. 2%. Kliever, what you got going on in your life?
What do I have going on in my life? Honestly, trying to enjoy these last couple days with friends, honestly. Because I won't see these boys for
It's facts.
3 months.
yeah.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
I don't
And
miss these dudes.
this camera, you should probably talk in that camera. Tell you any closing remarks.
Do not let 5 minutes of your life determine the next 5 years.
Real.
Man,
Great.
Appreciate it.
gratitude will get you
great
through some
quote.
adversity. That's what I just
Great
thought. Gratitude
quote.
will get you through adversity.
Kliever, again, we want to thank you for hopping on the podcast with us. We had a really great time today. Always have a great time when the boys come on. For Grant, Tobin, myself, and Kliever, I want to thank you all for tapping into another episode of the Three Dudes in Their 20s podcast. Hope you giddy up and go with your day, evening, night, tomorrow. I don't know when it is you're watching it. Don't know why I don't know why he's still going in my outro. It's crazy. We want to thank you again for tapping in. Giddy up and go. Have a great day, evening, night, morning, 15 years, whatever it is. We want to thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Hey,
Do that.
With the subby.
Subscribe.
thanks for doing that, Cooper. That was nice.
I think I'm going to show my kids this one.
Show my kids.
Hey,